Is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, Sword Art. I have finally seen why maybe some fans dislike the overall show and some of the narrative that comes with it, but at the same time, this episode had some very interesting levels of disloyalty and information just about who um, is pretty much in control and pretty much trying to use that information as a point of realization for characters to kind of get out of the ways that they are and maybe change a little bit because there could be something dire around the corner for them. But of course, villains being villains and pretty much thinking they're the smartest, unbeatables, unthinkables, unfleetables, whatever they want to think of themselves. But we pretty much get the information out there that now Blonde Kimito and Alice both know that Kimito is not a part of this world. Um, Not to mention he is a human that pretty much could have helped create this world as a whole. So all of these things kind of being out there is definitely, I think, a better talking point for the characters. Like in the sense of now, he Kimito doesn't have to act like this is the only place he has experience with, and this isn't the only place he has memories and stuff. So if that was something they wanted to talk about, it's just more information for these characters inside of this world to pretty much have on him. But it's kind of not his fault that he probably has a gap in his memory, or at least some type of psychological, you know, uh, probably hurting after what happened in the real world for him to even be put in this world full time. So it really comes down to this overall story, like this narrative of what. Oh my god, I'm gonna go down. What is Kimito? What? He didn't die, bro? Come on. What is Kimito really going to do after all of this is like said and done? And if he does have to reset this world, is he gonna do like the Carnal told him, where he might be able to keep like 5, 6 people alive or something, and pretty much put them at the new start? Or is it just going to be Kimito's way of seeing things, where he wanted to keep this world exactly how it is and pretty much just fix the issue of what's going on within it instead of having to reset it all? So I'm pretty curious of that overall narrative still, but the thing I was getting at, where people are just like really mad at certain types of aspects of shows, is this episode is one of those episodes where you're watching it and one thing happens that really just opens your eyes and your thought process to what could be possible in this show. And then, right as soon as they show you some crazy stuff, they just take it away. They just yank it right out from underneath you and be like, well, yeah, you thought, like what? So it just feels like a waste of time. And that waste of time being Alice and Kimito straight up getting bodied, and practically Alice should have been dead by how much blood she's already was bleeding out, and she's already weakened from popping an eyeball. But not to mention she gets straight up gutted. Then Kimito gets gutted, and you're telling me after they both get gutted, and Yujo's about to get gutted, he gets saved. I understand that. He uses a dagger that does some crazy stuff. I understand that. But then he just summons somebody that can heal all wounds. Like, bruh, what was the point of even going for that if you were just going to bring them back as soon as it was over. You know what I mean? As soon as they get poked, they're already back on their feet, you know? So it's like, yikes, bro. Just don't kill them. Just, you know what I mean? Like, you might as well just cut off their head and then have this chick show up and heal them. You know, like it's the weirdest non-payout I've seen in animes where they never really. I mean, this one was so quick that they didn't even cut to another episode and then like tease it in the previews or anything like that. They're just like, no, Kimito's fine. He's fine, guys. He is 1,000% fine. Don't even worry about that. But what we will say is he's still got a big fight ahead of him. I mean, it's not like the Cardinal slapped that thing that has like a whole bunch of perfected form arts inside of it with one spell. I feel like something really bad could happen, like both of the administrators be a little bit corrupted in their own ways. So maybe that's what's about to occur. I really can't tell at this point because after Kimito just getting resurrected after what just happened, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say anything is possible now, battle-wise, and the overall who wins, who loses situation. Because man, that was pretty messed up in my opinion. You just take away a death for two characters and save them, and then they're both like, "Oh, I trust this person full-heartedly." She just brought you back from the brink of death, buddy. Okay, what can she do if it wasn't bringing you back to death? What is that power capable of? Of course, they don't think about that. They ain't worried about that. They trust her, and because of the powers she used, it felt so full-heartedly and full of love and tenderness. So I get it, but at the same time, we're dealing with a show that the guy pretty much is dating any girl that he wants. I mean, not only is he dating girls in the real world, he's dating practically Alice in this virtual reality. You know what I mean? Like, he just don't care. He gets what he wants. And with this episode pretty much stomping on a guy's heart who really only wanted one person, and after Kimito pretty much goes straight up sword art online on him, and it goes like all the way back in time and uses this, like, what was that? Can someone explain to me why they needed to necessarily actually full on change his clothes? I think that's the idea behind the whole seed aspect of this is we needed to see um, what we can understand that is connected within the world that we used to be in. Why is some of this stuff so familiar to Kimito? Why are NPCs that he's meeting in this world, quote unquote, that are living their own lives and becoming whoever they want to be, why did they still have fighting styles that existed inside of the game that he's from? You know, all of these things were the tip-offs to this is somehow all related back to the towers and the main guy who started the game in general. So I get why you might want to show that outfit and stuff, but then it just like burns off and like his normal clothes are still there. So I thought he should have just kept that form or like, you know what I mean? Like, he has gone so far in this new form that he has leveled back up to his old, or I don't know, like it just seemed like two really quick takeaways. Like, we know you guys like this, but say goodbye. Like, oh, then why? What? Like, I'd rather not see it then and just be used to what I am watching as of now instead of getting to see something I love that you know we love and you could put in the series, but you choose not to. That's kind of weird. But other than that, the overall story of them having all the information of like, oh, this isn't a real world. There's people out there that control us, and you can't be in control because of how, like, she's pretty much making human type of moves, and because of that, it's not necessarily fair to the others because humans make some mistakes, and supposedly these robots can't make mistakes, but Kimito's already completely forgetting the fact that his blonde counterpart is pretty weirdly almost corrupted, so he definitely like turns a blind eye to that after all the stuff he's been through, he wanted people to suffer for what they'd done to him, and supposedly that's a human type of trait. And I don't know. It's just that's when the story starts to get interesting to me, is when Kimito starts putting his philosophies and his thought process onto these people that aren't really supposed to abide by the outside world. They're supposed to abide by their world, by their logic. So uh, but yeah, seeing Kimito straight up one shot, and he tried to attack the Empress. He gets distracted by, why would you get distracted? The guy who's weaker than this woman. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you got that, girl. Like, come on. I ain't worried about you. You were in here by yourself with one of these strong guys and defended yourself already, and now I'm supposed to defend you? Nah, you good. But yeah, man, this episode, wow, like it looked like it was about to be one of the best storytelling ever, and then Kimito literally magically gets revived, and we're right back where we started with them, pretty much about to start the fight with the sword golem. I mean, the most I can see happening right now is the Pontiff, the Carnal, doing something about the sword golem in the sense of just probably keeping it out of the fight, and then even though it's out of the fight, they would still have a ridiculous match with the administrator. So um, that's as much as I can see happening. Because I mean, think about it: the sword golem literally one-shotted both ridiculously strong swordsmen, and then completely shook another one so bad he couldn't even fight or do anything. So I don't see them doing any better than they just did. That's just me. But I mean, if all of a sudden they got a second win and start winning the fight, I wouldn't really be surprised either. So I guess we'll see where this starts to lead to. But overall, man, I really wanted to see more from that giant monster, but I guess just letting Alice Holden, Kimito, and Blonde Kimito do what they did was cool too, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Blonde Kimito literally didn't do anything this whole episode. That was such a weird show, like, decision for him. They just like rid him out of the story. They're like, okay, so he's going to be absolutely useless, right? Right? Okay, okay. And it's going to be against a fire guy who he should be super affected to. No, no. Ice is weak to fire. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Ice is so weak to freaking fire. Oh, this story is awesome. So that's pretty much what happened. Like, he just all of a sudden couldn't fight. He couldn't stand up for the woman he loves, or the one woman he came to rescue, and he couldn't stand up for the guy who has taught him everything. He was so frozen in fear, pretty much both times, against the giant monster and against the sword golem. So it's looking bad for our boy, but hopefully we will get another battle that kind of redeems him from him just standing there and watching everything this week. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode somewhat. I know there's going to be a lot of hate towards Kimito dying and being revived. Trust me, it's going to be out there. I can feel it in my bones, and I'm just a guessing man, okay? Like, I was almost disappointed in it, but at the same time, I was like, they really just did that for the scare factor. They really want you to think that at the end of the day, anybody can die, right? And because the Carnal has already lost a battle with this woman, like, how likely is it that she's going to now be able to win just because she was banished 200 years ago? Are we trying to say that the administrator didn't grind as much as the cardinal in that time? So that would be a very interesting way to try to level the playing field. And I think the story might suffer from it, but like I said, I'm a guessing man. I don't really see that being the end all be all, like Kimito being carried, like being power leveled now. That just doesn't really fit Kimito's overall persona of how to win and how to lose. But I could be wrong. This is a whole new type of monster we're dealing with here, and I can't wait to see what actually plays out. But to think that Saturday has only become a Sword Art fairy tale day, man, it feels pretty weird. I miss Radiant. But overall, I'm gonna drop 2 videos today and 2 videos tomorrow. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Well, that is if all the animes come out. So I can't make. I'll stop making promises that might not come true if shows actually aren't coming out. So whatever happens, I will try to get some daily content to you guys, regardless. With that being said, have an amazing day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this, and I am the Anime G, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.